is going to happen in music. Like the one surreal moment that would be meeting Michael Jackson, but that wasn't off of music.
Oh, man, listen.
But let me tell you, I met him, right?
Did he really sound like that?
It's weird because I didn't meet him in the space of like artist shit. I met him. I was fucking with a little white chick at some point in time, right? I'm sorry, black women, but at a certain point in time, I was messing with this white girl. She was from London. Shout outs to Claire. We're still friends.
Aww.
And she was probably the biggest Michael Jackson fan I met before me. So we was working at this joint called a Fresh Air Fund, which was a camp for underprivileged kids, and I was a counselor there. She was a counselor there.
Oh.
And we were talking, and I started trying to get some pussy, so I started singing. So I started singing. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh my God, you sound like Michael Jackson." Yeah. I was like, "That is such a compliment." And yo, that is my favorite artist. She was like, "Oh my God, I love him. I was just talking to him yesterday."
Talking to him.
Was just talking to him.
I brushed her off. All right, whatever. Cool, whatever. We had a break in between the camps because it was like 4 sessions and you get to go back home and take some days off. So, and within the break, speaking, and she's like, "Listen, Michael's gonna be in Harlem. He's having a press conference with Al Sharpton. I'm gonna go see him. Do you want to come?" I'm like, why she keep playing this Michael shit?
Right.
Yeah. Cool. If I'm gonna get some Muzzy on it, let me go ahead and play along.
Right.
Go meet up with her. We start walking from the train station and walking, and I'm seeing a big ass crowd. So I'm like, oh, Michael here for sure. Nigga here for sure. We get to the block, and it was being held at one of the I think FOY buildings.
What's that?
Is it FOY? It was the Foundational Islamic. It's the fruit of Islam.
Okay.
Right. So it's being held at one of these spots, and I'm like, we not gonna get in here. It's a line, and then it's I said, no, come. Grab my hand. We walk in. So, oh, well, she is a fan. Maybe she got some pull. We sit down, waiting. There's a speaker. Finally, Mike comes in. I'm happy just knowing that I got a chance to see Mike.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just see him. Fuck singing all that. He starts talking. He sits down. He starts scanning the crowd, and I see him do this.
To her?
I said,
he talking to you? He talking to you?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Michael just waved at this white bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this nigga. So I tap like, yo, that you. I know.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah. So I'm cool. So now I'm like this. Forget anything else. I'm going to get a chance to meet the guy that honestly is not the only, but the start of understanding the passion that I had. So everything ends. Of course, everyone's now trying to rush and then this and this and that. She starts walking towards Michael, and security guard is there, and he does this.
Hold on.
He sees who he's doing it to, and he says, "Oh, Claire.
Oh, who is this motherfucker?"
Yeah.
Lets her through.
What? Who are you with?
I'm like this.
Yeah.
Michael, oh, Claire,
Mike clap.
Michael, and at the time I went.
Mike clap.
I think so. Listen, I'm gonna get to that.
What?
So
that's what you need to know, though.
So Michael does it. At the time, I'm going by the name of LA. That was my stage name at the time.
Okay.
And she brings me in. Michael, this is LA. He's a great, amazing singer. Oh, hello, LA. Oh, nice to meet you.
It's a waste for me.
I can imitate Michael there.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, God bless you.
Walks off.
Yeah.
Leaves out. I'm like, oh, shit. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay. That's it.
It wore off.
That moment let me know I'm not beat or impressed by any of this shit. Because I really thought that was going to be the moment that I was going to...
Froze up or something.
I thought I was going to piss my pants. I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen when I got a chance to meet that man.
I ain't gonna lie. I would have did the Billie Jean kick. I don't know. I probably would have
just randomly.
It was so many Muslim niggas there that if I did they would have kicked
Blew
me
your
out.
head off.
Yeah. They wouldn't know what I was kicking at. So,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But after that, I did some time ago. Like, yo, let me ask you a question, man.
I was about to say, you never found out.
What was up with you and Mike? She said for sure, Mike 100% was calling fans. talking to fans, keeping in touch with certain people that he knew. Like
That's dope.
he sees everyone in the world, but he knows, he sees the people that he can remember. And so there was times where he would exchange contact with certain fans and write them and call them.
crazy.
She said he was a prankster. Like he would call in the middle of the night and be like, change his voice and do some funny shit.
Yo, Mike is
and
on
she would have to be like,
He's extraordinary.
Michael, I know it's you. And it's like, oh, you caught me. So that was my surreal moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was going to ask you about who was your influence, and you just answered it.
Mike.
My nigga, I study that nigga to this day.
You ain't the only
I
one.
rewatch tours. I rewatched the Bad tour in Yokohama. I watched the Bucharest tour. I watched that shit like it just came out. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, even to this day, I'm like, why the fuck I keep watching this shit? And I'm understanding that every time I watch it, it's something new I'm picking up. It's always something new I'm picking up. And it doesn't even have to translate to actual performance. The psychological shit that goes into being that level of performer.
Crazy.
What the fuck was he thinking at this moment where he had to do this spin? It's just so much detail to him just as a person that I'm always going to be a study of him.
When Mike came out at the Super Bowl and just stood there for like 10 minutes, and they was losing, he wasn't even singing. He just was like,
Yo, but the
people was,
psychology.
people was having seizures.
he just was looking.
Like I grew up when Mike was The Way You Make Me Feel. Like they literally stopped TV. Like you had to go home. The teachers rushed you to go home because his video is finna premiere and stop TV for The Way You Make Me Feel.
You know,
that's crazy.
You
Nobody
know
does
how
that.
much of a mad scientist you have to become to understand that power and know when to use it, when not to use it, how long should I use it for?
Right.
Let me feel the audience. Not let me just feel the audience. Let me feel the air. Let me feel when my drummer is like, he was 100% like maniacal with that shit. And that's in a new phase of me being inspired. I give all the respects to Joe. 'Cause I watch him do the same thing when it comes to the media space. Like people don't know, he knows and sees everything. Like even when you was like, that nigga ain't gonna come, I'm pretty sure he would, because he's tapped in so much. I'm pretty sure if I go get my phone right now, that nigga on Twitter Spaces talking to a bunch of motherfuckers, he'll never know.
I caught him in the spaces.
If I get my phone right now and call him, he gonna answer.
No, dead. I caught him in the spaces.
But that's not by
talking
mistake.
about certain shit. Like
Yeah, he
they
comes
was
in the
on
battle
him about the NBA YoungBoy shit, and he held the spaces, letting motherfuckers up to hear what the fans say. Where was I wrong at?
Yeah.
Because he get a lot of flack. They're like, oh, you always apologize, because he's open to say, hey, if I'm wrong, prove me that I'm wrong, and we can have a conversation. I thought that shit was dope as shit.
That's like I said, that's not a mistake. That is a scientist at work. Sometimes you become a mad scientist. Sometimes you get a little bit too involved. Sometimes people might think, but when you have the passion for certain shit in a certain way, it'll like drive you not to sleep. Like I've had nights where I just couldn't sleep, and I'm trying to, why the fuck can't I sleep? And I'm like, oh, I know why. Because I'm thinking about this next play that I need to put together.
Man, that's me.
And it's,
We know.
but that's
That's good.
Yeah, we
At
know.
3 o'clock, I can't wait to just get up.
We know.
I'm the same way. Like don't get me wrong, I like getting me some rest, but my thought is, all right, let me hurry up and get the fuck to sleep so I can wake up and get to some shit.
Man, that's me